Hey everybody, Gino Reynolds, the real Gino. I'm a bit behind. I was in the hospital. Rapid fire reviews. Here we go.
Let's count them down.
First up, Pokemon Detective Pikachu. While I thought this movie was alright, I think I would have liked it more if I were a bigger fan of Pokemon. There just seemed to be a lot of moments in the movie that were fan service, especially when it came to seeing the different creatures. While I was okay with the story, I did feel that it was way too predictable. A bit of movie math. Amnesia plus not showing a character's face equals a predictable reveal in the end. Ryan Reynolds is by far the best part of the movie. That being said, Pikachu being cute didn't stop a PG movie from neutering his humor. The movie's not bad, but it wasn't as good as I had hoped it would be. Next up, Longshot. Seth Rogen goes to work and again falls for his childhood babysitter turned presidential candidate played by Charlize Theron. While I enjoyed this movie for what it was, when it relied on the typical Seth Rogen humor, that's when it was at its weakest. While the humor is fine, the movie was better when it was using more intelligent kinds of humor. That being said, the chemistry between Rogen and Theron cannot be denied. Again, while I did enjoy this movie, I think my expectations were a bit too high. Speaking of high, since Seth Rogen seems to have to get high in every movie, is anybody else worried that he is playing Pumbaa in the Lion King remake? Is there gonna be a whole new meaning to the song Hakuna Matata? Next, The Perfection. This Netflix original is about a former cello prodigy that returns to a prestigious music school years after leaving to help the one that replaced her, or at least that's what this movie is about on the surface. What you get when you watch this one is a film that has all sorts of layers that get peeled back as you watch it. I don't want to spoil much about this one, but I will say that while I figured out much of the end game of it, it is the ride that makes it worth watching. There are all sorts of fun twisty-turnies that will keep you wondering what you got yourself into with this movie. While this isn't a great film, it is still worth checking out for free on Netflix. Next, Aladdin. Do I really need to give you a synopsis for this one? Other than the Laws of Agrabah plot being tweaked to give it a more girl power message, the genie getting a love story subplot, and a few other small changes, this is pretty much the Aladdin you know. I thought Will Smith did a decent job as the genie. While there were some glimpses of his take being inspired by Robin Williams' performance as the iconic character, Smith did try to make the character his own. My biggest disappointment of the movie is the neutering of my two favorite characters from the original. Both Jafar and Iago are both pale comparisons to their animated counterparts. Look, the acting, most of the music, and the atmosphere of this movie are pretty good. That being said, that doesn't make this one feel any less unnecessary. Next, Brightburn. Does anyone else wonder if James Gunn and the gang pitched this one to Warner Brothers as an Elseworlds version of the Superman origin story? Heck, the movie even takes place in Kansas. What you get with this one is what would happen if a Clark Kent type character became bad instead of good, and the horror that that would produce. It's a simple enough premise with enough dread to keep it interesting. In my mind, I just pretended that this was Clark Kent, and that made the movie even better for me. The cameo at the end of the movie is also very James Gunn, plus it teases that we might get more of these movies, which I am more than fine with. Lastly, The Secret Life of Pets 2. Look, if you want to hear my complete thoughts on this one, check out me and Brad's review for it over on his channel. I'll put the link in the description below. That being said, to sum up what I thought about this movie, I'll just put this image up. That's all for Rapid Fire Reviews. Catch you later.